Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. You are tuned in to the Vitamin D with Dawn Dai podcast. Hold on, let me say it again. You are tuned in to the Vitamin D with Dawn Dai podcast. Man, that felt good. Well, if you haven't guessed it already, I'm your host, Dawn Dai, here to get you excited about your life so that you can live life on purpose and for a purpose. Now, if this is your first time tuning in, let me tell you right now, Vitamin D is not only a dream of mine, but it's also a pun off my name. Well, you know my name is Dawn, right? Which means the sun. And you get vitamin D from the sun, right? So I am here to shed light into your life. And I do this with inspirational insights and conversations with celebrities and everyday people like you and me. However, let me give you a clearance. While Vitamin D is all about inspiration and motivation and getting you excited about your life and feeling good, I want to be clear with you. When we talk about shedding the light, that's on the good and the bad. Because if you want to be better and you want to do better, guess what? You're going to have to be able to see better. See, when we talk about shedding this light, it's on the good parts and the not so good parts. You dig what I'm saying? Because I'm not asking for a piece of you, I'm asking for all of you. And I don't want you to step into this process, this journey of living your best life, this journey of me uncovering my best life and living out my wildest dreams, of giving a piece of ourselves. You are going to see on this podcast, you're going to see, you're going to listen, you're going to learn, you're going to feel. We're going to gravitate all of this together, that this is a journey. And none of us are perfect. In fact, we're going to unravel how human we are. And unraveling like these quote unquote imperfections, we're going to realize that these are our superpowers. These are the very things that make us who we are. So as we go through this journey, I'm going to tell you right now, don't try to put me in a box. Don't try to say how things should be, because I'm stepping into everything that I am right now. And I realize that everything that I am right now is what brought me here in front of you, what birthed this whole inspiration, this whole dream of just being a multivitamin for your mind. I would even say your body and your soul, because vitamin D is applied to all of that. But let's just be clear that that's what this is, okay? Some days I might be crying. Some days I might be laughing. I might be in my feelings. I might be wanting to curse you out. I don't know. But all I'm asking you, or all I'm declaring rather, is that I'm human. And I need space to do that. And I want to create the space for you to be that. We all just need a little space to be who we are, when we are, just as how we are. That's what this is. So I hope that gave you a generalization of the idea of what this podcast is. And, you can check us out on YouTube. We got a YouTube page up, and it has snippets of our conversations and inspirational insights and quick doses and mantras. It just got all kinds of good stuff. So check it out at Dawn Dai Speaks, okay? And then also I want you to encourage to ring the alarm, tell everybody and friends to go ahead and subscribe, because I don't know which app you're listening to it now, but just be clear, you can get the Vitamin D with Dawn Dai podcast wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Now, oftentimes on here, while I'm in these inspirational insights and conversations, I also answer advice letters. So you can go ahead and email me, VitaminD@DawnDaiSpeaks.com, and I'll give you my intake on whether your relationship, whether your career, whether it's on love or finance or just trying to make a decision. You just want somebody else's voice. Send it over and we just might pick out your letter in the email bag. Hey, be nice, and I might tell Jeremiah to just pick yours. Wink, wink. Also, oftentimes we are just here talking, and I tell you what's happening, what's going on. It just takes a check-in of what's going on in my life. So basically, it's a bundle of everything, and it's a preparation for when I'm live and direct on your television screen or whatever we're going to be doing in the future. Okay? So I want to talk about something that has been on my mind for a while. And I guess even building up to this process of being in the studio right now, it's about pruning. It's about mental health, self-care, overusing all of this bundled up in one. We just gonna have a conversation, y'all. So without further ado, it's time for your dose of vitamin D.
Get your vitamin D right here with me and get excited about your life.
y'all doing? How you feeling? How's it going? It's a great day to be alive. It's a great day to be alive because you ain't dead yet. I said yet. I know that sounds so morbid. Perhaps we need to really focus and live life like that. Stop acting like you're dead by not living your best life, by not going after your dreams, by not being bold, by not being vulnerable, by not taking a chance, by not living. And when I say living, well, we know that living things grow and living things move and living things evolve. If you find yourself stuck by choice because you're allowing fear to decapitate you, you're allowing a relationship to hold you hostage, you're allowing your light not to be shed, that's like death. You ain't dead yet. So live. So I was coming across some things, just looking online and just seeing what's been talked about. And like I talked about before, there's this whole process and feel like that I've been going through of pruning. And just in case you're unclear, I didn't even think about pruning. I was talking to a good girlfriend of mine, Shelly. Shout out to Shelly. That's my homegirl. And I was just saying, like, so many people in my life, like my friends or what I thought was my friends or just like these relationships are falling by the wayside. Like, I don't know what's going on. And I'm almost like, we get into a mode of trying to hold on and trying to salvage. And I do believe and feel wholeheartedly that relationships take work. However, I'm working on not in the business of holding on to things because I got to go higher. So I'm talking to Shelly and Shelly was like, Dawn, you sound like you're in a pruning process. And it didn't register or I didn't click what exactly pruning was. And so after looking up the definition, and I'm like, dang, I might be in a pruning process. So if you're like me and you're like, okay, Dawn, well, what does pruning mean? Okay, I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you. So I just did a quick Google search and it says pruning means like to trim, and oftentimes I think we think of plants like roses, flowers, trees. And essentially the pruning process removes dead and dying branches and stubs, allowing room for new growth and protecting your property and passerby from damage. Okay. Also, it deters pest and animal infestation and promotes the plant's natural shape and healthy growth. Okay. Did you catch it? Let's break it down of how I apply this to myself. So we talk about this whole aspect of growing to be more, to be fruitful, to expand, right? Well, just like every day you lose thousands of cells from your body. It literally falls off so it can regenerate a new thing. Heck, if we still had the cells that we had as a baby, like literally we would be like conformed into this small being. But guess what? Those cells had to shed and had to create a new thing. And you realize that all of this dead skin and dying branches, you have no more use for them. And I'm looking at it. I asked God, I said, God, I want to be taken higher with my dreams and with my purpose. I don't want things to be in a way that's a distraction. And I realized that in elevation and even going higher, things that don't serve me, they don't deserve me. And if it's going to fall by the wayside, it's falling by the wayside. So I had another friend. I'm shouting everybody out, calling everybody business. Heck, Elle, she's like, well, Dawn, do you think something's wrong? Maybe something's wrong. And I said, well, wait a minute. I don't think I want to fight it because I'm not in the business of forcing anything. I am in the business of having a conversation and figuring how things go. But I realize that my dreams are unraveling. And when I say unraveling, they're being unpackaged. The ribbon is being taken off because now I'm walking in the gift. I'm not just looking at the gift as a present. Oh, I want to have it. No, I am being that gift. And what I realize is that unwrapping my gift, everything is not meant to come with me. And maybe it could be at not the right timing, but I don't want to force it. So in this mode, if she's saying like, oh my gosh, what's going on? I'm like, well, Elle, I'm not tripping because God is showing me my life of my dreams. And if this isn't serving me, it doesn't deserve me, meaning I'm not going to try to hold on to things. And I have to ask you, like, are you holding on to some things that you need to let go? Because if I can see how God is unraveling my level of discernment, me making a choice, even me like feeling in my gut, let's just be real. So in this whole pruning process I was telling you about and how people are falling away, I was just telling Elle this. I was like, yo, every person or each person that I felt some uncertainty with, where something didn't feel right, where I had to second guess, or where I had to look over my shoulder, they're not here right now. I'm not mad at it. I don't think that I'm hurt by it, because I want to step into the realm of understanding what's supposed to be in my ecosystem so I can thrive in my ecosystem. And this isn't just about living my dreams as far as VitaminDDawnDai podcast. This is even prepping to be that woman to be behind the podcast, to welcome everything else in my life. So I don't think like, is it lonely? I don't know, because I ain't trying to force nothing. Like, you know, we can get so consumed with wanting to wear a shoe. Ladies in particular, want to wear some type of high heel, even some fellas. You might be so quick just to get a shoe that you're not even concerned of whether or not it fits. I only want the things that fit in my life. Like, do you know how uncomfortable it is to wear something that's too tight? Do you know how uncomfortable it is to try to run and try to maneuver in shoes too small? You start to get calluses, i.e. corns, bunions. And it starts to get thicker and thicker, almost kind of like a wall or a shell, because if you have someone around you or you're surrounding yourself in situations that don't deserve you, you do not operate in the full self and the magnitude that you wish to, because it's constantly a block. It's constantly a shoulder I got to look over. It's constantly a second guess, and I don't want to operate that way. I want to operate and I want to grow from a space of abundance in a fruitful environment where I feel comfortable. I can't tell you how important it is for me to be comfortable. And when I use comfortable in this sense, for me to have space to be Dawn. Now, you will hear me consistently say that you should not be comfortable when you're talking about pursuing your dreams, because you are asking for more and you're asking to grow. But when it comes to my relationships in my life, when it comes to who I surround myself with, when it comes to who I allow in my home and in my space, it has to be comfortable, because I need to exist. And when I say comfortable, think of it like oxygen. When I'm not comfortable, I feel like I can't breathe. Like I feel constricted. That's kind of like what you do when you're uncomfortable. Wait, what? Versus when you are. You can breathe. There's such a means of relaxation, and I think that's so important. And when we're talking about pruning, those things that are causing you not to be able to breathe and to operate have to be cut off. Things have to be done by the wayside. And I think oftentimes when we look at pruning, we have to take in consideration of just different habits, how we choose to love on ourselves, along with the people that we choose to surround ourselves with. Because sometimes that can still hinder us from being our best self. I think also a lot of pressures society can place on us. And I guess it really hit me, like this pruning process, unraveling and showing up who we are and our position and our comfort that we get placed in the world. As I was going back, and I don't know if you had a chance to check it out, but I had an interview for the second time, or I had a conversation with the second time, I should say. Let's say conversation with the NBA's first female referee, Violet Palmer. The title of the episode, if you go back on the podcast, is called Black and Proud. And I think oftentimes when we go through this pruning process, there's a pride in which we need to stand in ourselves. You need to hold yourself accountable of the people that you surround yourself in your life, the opportunities you either choose to seize or to release, even if your state of existence, the consumption. So in talking about that, it made me just think of the pressures in society, oftentimes puts on us, or basically what we allow it to put on us. And what I mean by that is that oftentimes I'm not sure society welcomes a lane, a lens, a space to show up and to be exactly who we are meant to be. And when that space isn't created, we find ourselves trying to fit in spaces that don't have room for us. I gave you an example starting off. I talked about relationships. Some people don't fit anymore. Just like when we're talking about this whole pruning process, it says it removes dead and dying branches and stubs. Some of these relationships that we're holding on in life are dead. It's time to release them, but understand this too. Where there's an ending, there's a beginning. And it doesn't mean dead forever. It can just simply mean this season, right? See, the issue becomes when you try to control the seasons and try to hold on and constrict about how things should be, what should be done versus allowing things to flow and understanding that sometimes man's rejection is God's protection. If it doesn't flow, it got to go. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more, no. Or just right now. But I guess I'm saying all that to say because when society doesn't allow us the room to grow or a space to be, we feel as though we are trapped. And then therefore we cannot show up as an authentic self. And that was one thing that Violet made sure that she consistently said over and over again, how it's important to be your authentic self, how it's important to show up who you are as you are, how when she decided to be everything that she is and what she stands upon, allowed her to break barriers that were unknown, unbeknownst. And it doesn't even just go with the realms of her sexuality, even down to her just talking about how she decided to wear her hair, how she decided to amplify her voice. And in doing that, when she decided to walk into permission of who she is, she saw that everything is coming. But guess what? When we're put in a situation of we're not allowing the pruning process to naturally happen, these branches, these dead things, they start to create these layers on top of us. And so now all of a sudden, the things of how we were able to move so easily through, we can't anymore. Or let me say this, we don't even give ourselves permission to do so. Heck, I was even looking at, did you see that episode of the Red Table Talk? Where Jada was talking about her experience with addiction and how she was talking about her cocktail. She was saying that she got to a point where she was over drinking. She can drink well under the table. But she said she got to the point where she started getting her cocktail because she started mixing in the ecstasy with the weed and it started the whole taking over. See, that's what I'm talking about. I'm so grateful now that we're in a space that we can talk about these things. We can talk about how the overusing can overuse us. She said she had gotten to the point that she had made a bad cocktail because of what? A bad, I don't know if it was a bad trip or just the quality of the ecstasy. She passed out on the set of The Nutty Professor. Oh my God. I say this because I can't even imagine how many other people have been going through things. And thank God now in this day and age, we have space, we have room to talk about these things. We have room to say it's okay not to be okay. We have room to say, hey, look at these damaged goods and I'm trying to leave them out because who knows, that story probably saves somebody else's life. And when we're talking about this pruning process, we got to realize that sometimes we got to check ourselves before we wreck ourselves. So whether or not you thinking like, oh, because I'm so used to this relationship that I got to hold on to, let it go. You know, we got to get used to the realm of letting go of things. And it's like society teaches us to hold on to so much. Acquire, get this, have this. You can do this if you have this. But what about when we say, I'm just going to be free and just to breathe? When we get to the point of we allow our existence to just exist. And just like the seasons, when the rain comes, it goes. Sometimes these relationships got to be like that. Heck, we even look at the fact of just going back to how society can press a pressure. And now we're getting to a space that we can say, hey, you can see me for who I am. Look at 𝘲𝑗ⁱ. I'm not going to even front. I do think that, you know, as far as abiding by rules, what the rule simply states. But here is a woman just showing up as she is right now to say, I was going through something. This is something that whether or not I had to deal with because my mother died or whatever the case may be. But when we get to a point in society where we do not allow people to show up, it's hard. So let the pruning process be in that too, or whatever access that we got to figure out. We got to carry everybody else. I don't know about you, but I'm only carrying Dawn. Heck, we even saw what Naomi Osaka and how she decided not to participate in the French Open. because she said, I am protecting myself. Where she had an article that was it in Time? And it was entitled, It's Okay Not to Be Okay. And guess what? It's okay to talk about that. See, that's part of the pruning process. Whatever this stigmatism of things that we feel like we got to hold on, I'm telling you right now, it's time to let it go. I feel like oftentimes when we hold on to things and situations that don't serve us, we lower our level of frequency. Like our vibrations actually vibrate lower. Because it isn't moving freely. It's moving under these conditions that are not in our natural state. And I say natural state, things that are belonging in our life, things that we're not getting a good vibe from. And if we are these spiritual beings having this human experience, we know that we are consistent of electrolytes. This energy source, that's what this energy is. We are just on this plane of just a vibration. But when we stop the vibration of not existing with ourselves or holding on to things that need to be let away, it starts to get slower and it starts to get lower. So it's like, what vibration frequency are you operating at? It's time for that. We gotta not only make sure other people are held accountable, we have to hold ourselves accountable for some of the pruning process that needs to be done. Because when you get into a situation and you're looking at, when you're asking to grow, when you're asking to be better, you are the company that you keep. I was just telling Jeremiah the other day is that sometimes you have to treat certain people like you have a white outfit on. You may have heard me say that on a few episodes back, but what I mean by that is that you are cognizant of what is in your surroundings. You are cognizant about what gets too close to you. You are cognizant to understand that everybody doesn't deserve a hand on you. And that's what pruning is about, is understanding that not everyone and everything deserves a hand on you. So like Naomi Osaka was saying, like, hey, listen, I was just coming from my truth. At that time, I did not want to talk at that press conference. Heck, she talked about how even in a everyday society that people that work, right, they're given their, their day off as a sick day. And all she said was, dang, can I have one day where I do not want to talk to the press? And do you see how we shamed her for that? And I say I use that loosely, but just as a whole, as a people, oh, why didn't this girl want to talk? Heck, it wasn't the day for it. We got to stop putting all this pressure on. So when I revert back to my friend Elle, and the reason why I said that, and I made mention about the fact that she's like, oh my gosh, well, don't you think you need to hold on? It's like, I don't need that pressure to feel like I got to hold on, because I want to operate in a space that is for me, I want to operate in a space where I welcome conversation, but I'm not going to welcome discord. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm in a healing process. And in this healing process, I understand how important it is to feel. You catch it? Because if I'm able to feel, I'm able to understand the frequency of the vibration that's on. Now, like I said before, a lot of the people that were around in my life that are not, I had to do a second guess. There was a second guess that was going on. I had to check. I'm like, yo, why doesn't this feel right? So I ask you, who are you holding on to? Don't sit here and say, oh my gosh, well, I'm not sure. Yes, you do. You know the truth by the way that it feels. What did I say before? NDRE told us that. We got to get back into the mode of trusting the intuition, trusting what's inside. Do you think that a plant, the very thing that gives us life because it allows us to have oxygen, is ever concerned with the fact that whether or not the sun is going to shine the next day? No, it stands tall in expectancy. And I think that's what we have to do. We have to expect that every life decision of things that are working for us and the things that are working against us are in its true state and in its form. And being so clear and discerning that we are able to see it. And that's what comes with the pruning process. The pruning process ain't nothing but getting away the weeds. So I'm not trying to force any weeds to grow in my garden that is not meant for there. Because if I don't see myself being fruitful, if I don't see myself feeling at my best self, if I don't feel rejuvenized with I'm with you, you are not serving me. So guess what? You're not deserving of me. And it's everything that goes along the lines when we talk about how you are your greatest asset. Well, hold on now. Now, I've been talking about this whole time of pruning of other people, but I'm also have to say when we need to just shed more light of pruning things that surround us. And just like I was saying with Jada and her whole situation of her overusing, there was a numbness that's there. And I will say here, I have my vices, whether it's overeating, maybe have a cocktail or two, maybe indulge in some other libations. But it's about the balance, right? It's about understanding, what do you want out for your life? How do you choose to exist? Now, as I said before, we're not perfect and we're all learning this together. We all understand that life is a journey and we're taking it step by step. We have to realize that just like those people that we'll hold on to, and how I was saying how they serve as those calluses, those things that you are overusing are servicing a callus to you as well, because you're not able to feel and to move like you need to. But here's the thing. I ask that you find grace with yourself. And that's what I had to learn from Dawn. We are just human. When you fall, you get back up. Now, if you say, oh, but you got to have all this discipline. And if you're a person that's a firm believer of the Bible and the book, Jesus failed 3 times. So what is you saying? You're human too. But it's important to be on a level or the vibration of understanding of when you're at a state where you're not feeling. Do you understand what I'm saying? And because, like I was saying, the societies and what the pressures are doing, we get into a state of we're not feeling. I need you to feel what I'm saying. The pruning season is warranted because you have to get to a point that you are letting go of the things that do not work for you. Even amidst of all these strict sanctions about what you're supposed to do or what you can't do, you have to be able to find yourself. You have to find your own rules on the know-how and how to do something for yourself. You have to set those parameters. You have to discern and decide what you are going to allow in your life. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have to check yourself before you wreck yourself. And that's checking your environment. That's checking the temperature of your frequency. What is your vibe? Kendrick Lamar, don't kill my vibe. Don't allow anybody to kill your vibe. Don't allow what circumstances to kill your vibe. Heck, don't even allow yourself to kill your own vibe. That goes back to forcing situations that don't work. That goes back with placing yourself around people that don't serve you. That's going back to overusing things and allowing it to overuse you. I didn't say not sometimes. I'm saying when you get to a point where you're not able to control it with yourself, it's time to check yourself before you wreck yourself. Let's get away with the shame and blame game, okay? I told you we shedding light, so that's stepping forth as you are, who you are, as you are right now. Right now. Not tomorrow, not 5 years, not 10 years from now. I'm telling you right now, you don't have to hide who you are. You can be everything that you want, but you have to understand that in this process of being greater, in this process of being more, there is some pruning that will be shed. Hey, I don't know if I'm just making it up from a movie, but even like I've seen this thing of like spaceships, when they be going out of space and stuff, I feel like some metal and stuff be coming through, like it's shedding some stuff off. You know what I'm saying? Hey, even thinking of the process of a butterfly, when it's in the whole caterpillar mode and it's going into the cocoon, do you see the shedding and the pruning that's happening in order for it to transformation into a butterfly? This transformation process is serious. And even in the process of that butterfly, guess what? Homie flying now. That's as lame as it can get. At one point, this caterpillar was crawling, went through a process, didn't try to avoid the fact of the pruning process, and decided to fly. Are you going to decide to fly? I don't know about you, but I didn't come this far to stay the same. So if you gotta go, you gotta go. I ain't holding on to nothing. And I guess I'm in a place right now, and I'm wondering, what about you? I'm in a place right now, but I'm trusting things because I see things are opening up. And that's what I meant about how my dreams are unraveling. Like I'm unwrapping the gift that God gave me. And I'm walking into it. So I got to find something that feels right. And I'm going with that wind. That's what I'm doing for Dawn. And if you aren't blowing with me, then you're going. And if we aren't at the point that we can have a conversation to understand what's going on, then got to go. I'm open to it, but I damn sure ain't holding on to it because I'm holding on for my life right now, for my dreams. And as we all are. And I just want to make sure that to remind yourself of that, to understand how important it is for the pruning process, how important it is to advocate for your self-care. And in that self-care of understanding if I'm not to the overusing. Hey, I was looking at that dang on video and I'm going back to the Red Table Talk and I'm listening to Jada and I'm listening to these women that are coming up there that have this addiction to alcohol. And I'm like, yo, I look at myself and I'm like, yo, I hear myself and I'm like, yo, That might be me with food. I'm going to be transparent. Let's just keep it real. You know, a lot of these women, they had talked about how they got the career, they got the degrees, and they got their family under control. They said this one thing that they aren't able to put their hands on. I know with myself, if I'm going to just be honest, and like I told you, like, we're going to be learning a lot because I don't plan to go nowhere. I'm going to be here for a long time. I'm going in the history books with this. But what I realized is that my thing is food. And I laugh and I joke about it. I mean, because I do enjoy it, but it's about having that relationship. And I can wholeheartedly say probably my relationship with food could be healthier. No, it should be healthier. I can say that because I want to be honest with myself and what I want. And sometimes we think it's just cutting something blatantly off. Well, I can't cut food off. That's how I live. But I got to understand the relationship with it. So if that's going to take me having to rid myself of people that serve as a distraction, of another way to get the focus off Dawn, I can't have that. I'm not saying it's just everything revolves around Dawn. No, but I am the center of me. I can't be good to anything else that comes around me if I don't surround myself with the goodness of myself that is myself. You feel me? So I looked at that and I saw that, and I'm going to explore that even more. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm still going to eat my food. I'm still going to talk about the food. Probably eat some food that's not so healthy, but what is the first step is awareness, right? And remember, we choose the life that we live. So then it comes to the point of what do you want? And I ask myself that. What do you want? As I'm on this journey of working out, as I'm on this journey of figuring out how to get back in the kitchen, because I forgot. I know it sounds crazy, but for a few years, I was doing a meal plan, a vegan meal plan. And so all of my food was delivered. Well, I had a transition in my life. So I have to figure out where to allocate my funds and how they go. And so I got to get back in the kitchen. And I appreciate that because I actually love to cook. Let it be known now, and I'm going to tell you this right now. When vitamin D comes out on your television screens or wherever, there will be a segment. We are going to be eating and cooking food. Like, that's my shiznels. I just have to make sure that I understand the appropriate boundaries. And maybe that's what we need to talk about. Maybe the pruning process are these boundaries. And as I was talking earlier and I talked about the seasons, the boundaries in those seasons, like, you know, it ain't like, oh man, winter be up in the summer. Like, what up though? No, it can't last. Homie, be melted away. You know, you might get a splash, but will it reside? Well, I guess depending on the climate change, things could change. But you know what I'm trying to say. Stop making me overthink. Shoot. So, I just wanted to say that don't be afraid of the pruning. We talked about the self-care, you know, we talked about the mental health and protecting your space. And of course, like I said, with the eating, the overusing. And I'm sure there are other things. But when we get to the heart of the matter, when we realize that we don't have to carry all these shells and all these calluses because we're not trying to fit in spaces we don't belong, that makes taking the layers off half the battle. You feel me? Because I don't have all this gunk on me. I ain't got this stuff because I just showed up as me. And I'm enough. And I fit inside of me. And you fit inside of you. And if it doesn't, guess what? It's going to fall away. So don't try to hold on to it, okay? That's what I'm saying. Be like Erykah Badu. And like she said, pack light. Yeah. I want that for you. Okay? And then also, I also want to say this too. If you feel like this is a struggle, only know that this is just a due process, just for a finite amount of time, and that is possible. And you're going to be okay. I just need to make sure that you choose you first, okay? You are your greatest asset. All right, well, if you enjoyed this episode, and I got plenty others you can check out. I want to implore you to check out our YouTube page at Dawn Dai Speaks, where you can check out all of the conversations. You can check out the inspirational insights, the quick doses, all that jazz. And I'll need you to tell your friends, to tell their friends, to tell all of their friends about the Vitamin D with Dawn Dai podcast. It's available wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And you know it's a gift. It's a gift that keeps on giving. So go ahead and share some light to somebody, okay? Also, don't forget that you can also email any advice letters you need to our Vitamin D email bag, VitaminD@DawnDaiSpeaks.com. Also, if you want to follow me, yes, me, you want your vitamin D on the go, I want to encourage you to follow me on all social media at Dawn Dai Speaks. All right? Be good to yourself. Be good to others. I'm in the business of making dreams come true. And best believe I'm not going to forget about mine. So until next time, always remember, you are your greatest asset.